These people get mad when you mention it, like Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro. They don't just like, they get mad and yell at you and like call you conspiracy theory. They just want to shut it down and no talk of it.
Well, what's the proof behind the conspiracy theory? They want to get me on their podcast, an eyewitness to this attack, to what they've done of America, and to have other survivors there and call us liars. Let's see what a conspiracy theorist you think it is then, both of them.
Yeah.
Fight back! Fight back!
Hey, Jake Shields here with Philip Tourney. Philip's he's a survivor of the USS Liberty. For people that don't know, that was on was it June 8th, 1967? Israel attacked an American Navy ships by killing 34 Marines, wounding 179. Is it?
They killed 34 sailors and Marines, and wounded 174 others, including myself.
Wow, and I think a lot of Americans don't know about this. I didn't until recently. It was something when I found out about it, I was furious. So I can imagine what you must have been feeling the last 50-something years now?
57 years, yeah.
57 years, yeah, and it was covered up. But real quick, before we get into Liberty, let's just go back. You joined the Army at 17, right, or the Navy?
Yeah, I joined the Navy at 17 years old. That was February 6th, 1964. Yeah, I was in boot camp in San Diego, California. When I got out of boot camp, I got transferred to another ship, USS Mauna Kea, and did 2 tours with that ship, and then I got transferred to USS.
Two tours in Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
Vietnam. So didn't you receive a medal too of I'm sorry, I don't know the medals that well.
Yeah, I received the Vietnam Service Medal with 1 Bronze Star.
Yeah.
For my service there.
Yeah, so you were American patriot, served in the military. And then switched.
I love the military.
And then you got switched to the Liberty.
Got switched to the Liberty. I didn't even know what it was, to be honest with you. It was, so secret, and it had antennas everywhere on board the ship, Jake. When I got aboard there, they says, well, we mapped the bottom of the ocean. I said, well, that looks odd, because all the antennas were going straight up.
Interesting.
So
they didn't even really tell you what you were doing until you got on the boat.
No.
And they probably still didn't tell you everything.
No, and there was 2 different crews aboard that ship. Ship's company, which was me, and there's 100 of us, and 200 spies.
Oh, wow.
So, we didn't know what they did. We didn't even talk to each other because it was so secret.
Oh, wow. And you guys weren't armed with like military guns and
No.
missiles and whatnot?
No, we had 4 50 caliber machine guns, 2 forward on the forecastle, which is the front of the ship, and 2 midships on port and starboard side.
Yeah, and you were down by Africa mostly originally, right?
Right, absolutely. Our normal sailing is from Norfolk, Virginia, up and down the African coast, and we stop in different ports. And this is my 3rd cruise aboard the Liberty. On this particular cruise, we were in Abidjan, Africa. Everybody went on Liberty, have a couple beers or do whatever.
Yeah.
After that, we got emergency orders to pack up and leave as fast as you could. Head for parts unknown. We didn't know where we were going. And in fact, there was a few guys that were going to leave, but they got them back aboard ship, and we took off.
It was that quick? It was like within hours, like right now?
It was right now. You leave right now.
That's crazy. Emergency order. So it was like a big deal, but they didn't tell you where.
No, we had no idea where we was going. Nobody did.
And they brought you up right by Israel-Egypt conflict?
Right. Well, we went through the Rock of Gibraltar and got into the Med. And all the ships were going that way, and we were the only one going that way.
Yeah.
Which seemed kind of strange. And we finally figured out that the Arabs and the Israelis were in a war.
It was Egypt. What was a few countries they were at war with, right? I believe.
Yeah, Jordan, Egypt.
And Israel preemptively attacked them, I believe.
Yes, it was a preemptive attack. Israel wiped out all their aircraft on the ground, and they were basically defenseless.
Oh, wow. It's very similar to like a Japan when they attacked Pearl Harbor type of thing, wiping out the aircraft.
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially the war was over. They were executing prisoners on the beach.
Yeah. I'll go to that a little bit because I was actually reading about that. Let's get into that.
Right.
Let's get into the attack first, and let's get into that. So,
Okay.
So you were there outside international waters. You guys were not in Israel, in territory. You were flying a massive American flag. How big was it? Like 13?
That was our last flag. It was 7 by 13 holiday colors, but our regular steaming ensign was a 5 by 8. And that flag was brand spanking new because we would make sure everybody knew who we were.
And you had military coding on the plane, everything.
Yeah, well, we had AGTR 5 written on both sides, bow, port and bow, and on the back it had in big black letters USS Liberty, and of course our flag was flying.
Yeah. So leading up to the attack, what had you seen?
What we saw, we got there, on the 7th, the 7th of June, and Israeli recon aircraft were flying over us.
Yeah.
They had the Star David on their airplanes. These were propeller planes, like they call it a flying boxcar, and smaller planes. And the next day, that repeated again on June the 8th.
And you probably felt safe seeing Israel planes being our ally.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, there were Stars of David. People were painting on paper all throughout the ship, posting them up and everything like that. Because, at that time we thought Israel was our best ally in the whole world.
Everyone on the ship believed that was a great ally and you were safe. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so what happened from there? Like how did the attack proceed?
Well, we got overflown again that morning. We felt very, very safe. We secured from general quarters. It was a chemical drill. Excuse me, I was in damage control. Yeah. And I was in an impregnated suit, pretending like I was washing down the ship. And it was so hot. It was a beautiful sunny day. Our flag was flying. Beautiful, beautiful sunny day. We secured from general quarters, and I stowed my gear. And the captain said, "Good job, you guys. Did a good job." And the sound power phones weren't working on the forward gun mount. I was up there, and I got eye seaming to come up there, David Skolak. And after that, he said, "Tourney, I got it." I said, you could see the bombs going off on the coast, blackening. You could see everything.
Yeah, from the war.
Yes, absolutely. We thought, God, man, glad we're not over there. So he says, I've got it, Tourney. I'll fix this. And I said, man, I wouldn't want to be up here in case we got attacked by Egypt.
By Egypt.
Yeah. And just as soon as I walked down the ladder, about 30 seconds into my workstation, which is in the shipbuilder's shop, all hell broke loose.
And how did it first? I know it happened so quick, I imagine, in a war, but what happened first?
What happened first was they took out all of our 450 caliber machine guns.
Oh, wow. So that was your only defense mechanism?
That was our only defense mechanism. They took out all of our antennas on the ship. They were tuning antennas, but one, because it was taken offline by Terry Haldebardier. He took that tuner off because it wasn't working right. And they hit every antenna and watertight door above the waterline within 3 seconds. Wow. They were all taken out.
This was with airplanes attacked it, or?
Airplanes. We were attacked by unmarked jet aircraft, which we found out were Mystere
so
and Mirage.
They had those Starboard Davis removed from the ones they attacked you with.
Right.
To cover it up so you couldn't see who was doing it. Interesting.
No, couldn't see nothing. Terry hooked up a long wire and got an SOS out. Rockstar, under attack. Need help, Rockstar, under attack. This was picked up as far away as Vietnam. The Mighty Sixth Fleet, they had the carriers there. The American, the Saratoga, picked up that message. Captain Tolley.
So America did pick up the message?
Absolutely.
Wow, I was unaware of that.
Yeah, and Tolley launched immediately. Even before the airplanes hit the horizon, they were recalled by Washington by Robert McNamara. Do not assist Liberty, return to base.
They were told not to assist? Who told them not to assist again?
McNamara, Robert Strange McNamara.
He was a general or secretary, all the way from the Secretary of Defense. So head up said not to defend you.
Right.
Wow.
And that
SOS when you guys said you need help. This is the Secretary of Defense said, do not send help.
Do not send help. But the America and Tully launched again with more aircraft. Johnson got on the phone immediately to the skippers on the ships. Said, return those GD aircraft back to your bases now. I could care less about a few dead sailors. I will not embarrass my ally Israel. Now, how did he know Israel was attacking us when we didn't?
You said Johnson said this?
Yes.
Lyndon
Baines Johnson.
The President of the United States.
President of the United States. How did he know he was attacking us when we didn't?
Yeah, this is baffling to me. I did not know that he said that. Like I said, I know a little bit about Liberty, but not much about the cover-up. That's so it goes all the way to the top. He was attacking.
Absolutely. We were set up by our own government.
Yeah, that's just terrible to hear. So let's get back into the attack. What happened after they after they took out the antennas and the guns.
The attack lasted for about approximately 25 minutes from the aircraft, and there was probably 30 sorties over the ship. And what they left behind on the first passes was over 5,000 armor-piercing bullets in the ship.
Damn, were they hitting Marines and Navymen?
Yes, they were shooting anything that moved on deck. In fact, the two men I talked to about, gunner's mate Thompson and Skolak, and the forward gunman I just left, were blown completely to bits. And I just left there 36 seconds before that.
So you just barely almost got blown up.
Yeah, by the grace of God, I didn't.
Yeah, it's wild. So, yeah, what happens from then?
Well, the jets got done with us. And we thought, well, maybe it's over.
Survived?
Yeah, but it wasn't to be. There were 3 Israeli torpedo boats headed our way. We finally saw the Star of David on it. We said, "Oh God, here they come! Our buddies,
Coming to
our
help you."
best buddies in the whole wide world, going to come help us." No, they didn't. They didn't want to come help us. They come to sink us.
Yeah, that must have been baffling.
It was baffling, and it was heartbreaking.
I could imagine thinking your ally is realizing they're attacking you. So what was the ship like at this point? I imagine just carnage. Was there people like dying, blown up? Was it just
Absolutely all of the above? And they dropped napalm on our ship, on the bridge of the ship.
napalm, which is banned? It's
a war crime.
War crime, yeah.
Absolutely.
That burns people's skin off and stuff.
Yeah, it does. And it also burns your lungs. You're done.
Wow. So were you watching people I imagine these people were your friends on thing? People getting shot and dying right in front of your eyes?
Yes, I have. I saw. One of them was David Skolak. He was the helmsman aboard the ship. I went up on the bridge to fight the fires,
Yeah.
and I saw him, Francis Brown. Him and I were buddies. We used to go drink and shoot pool together on the beach, and we just looked at each other. I never said a word to him, and he didn't me either. We just looked at each other. I went down, tried to get some more CO2, come back up. He was blown up. His head's gone. He's laying in a pool of blood.
Yeah. And was he already dead or dying?
He's dead.
Yeah, that's got to be tough watching a friend die like that. And yeah, so at this point, the attack was pretty much over, or were they still attacking?
Well, the 25-minute attack, and then it turned into another hour and a half with the torpedo
With
boat.
torpedo boats. I read somewhere you guys threw out the rafts to try to get out, and they sunk the rescue rafts or something. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. We had enough life rafts on that ship, Jake, for 294 souls. We only had 3 of them left.
Oh, wow.
3 life rafts.
And how many did those hold? How many people?
Approximately probably 30 men.
So yeah, you wouldn't be able to get everyone.
No, but we were going to put our most seriously wounded in them to give them a chance to live. We dropped the life rafts over. There were only 3 of them. They shot 2 out of the water
Jesus.
and took 1 aboard their boat as a trophy of their kill. And I hear it's in Haifa as a trophy.
Jesus, they still have it probably.
Yeah, they got it. They're proud of it.
Yeah, I know it's crazy when you start going down this rabbit hole a year ago of all the stuff that our greatest ally does to us. And I can imagine the frustration you must have had for the past 50-something years seeing this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a scar in America. George Ball, he said, if Israel can do this to America, they can get by with almost anything. And Dean Russ said, it will remain a scar in American Israel relations forever.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's why I'm bringing you on. I think people need to wake up to realize that Israel is not our ally. This is a rabbit hole I've only gone down the last year, and the more you dig, I mean, we'll mostly stay in the liberty, but there's so many aspects, which you're obviously aware. We talked a little bit earlier of they're not. It's not just this; they're screwing us every way possible.
Absolutely, they're screwing us.
Yeah, let's get back to the ship though. So, what happened after the attack? Was there how fast did America send help? You guys, they had an SOS right away, so you think someone should have been there within 20 minutes. Clearly, that didn't happen. So, how long did it take?
Well, we thought the attack was over when the torpedo boats got done with, but it wasn't.
Oh, Jesus.
They sent aircraft, helicopters with Marines in them, ready to board our ship and kill us all and scuttle the ship.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, they just took off. In fact, there was one Marine on the skid of the helicopter, and I was looking dead in his eyes, and I gave him the finger.
Wait, Marine by like U.S. Marines or
No,
by the Israel?
Yeah, idea.
The idea. Yeah.
And he just smiled at me and gave me the finger back,
Wow.
and they took off. Because I figured I was a dead man anyway.
Yes,
What
you might as well tell them to fuck off before
Yeah,
you
I
die.
did.
Fuck these scum.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at that point, you don't really know why they abandoned the attack at that point. They probably had a
No,
call from someone higher up, I assume.
Yeah, the gig was up.
Yeah.
What Israel did, they apologized for the attack
Yeah, because they knew that.
too early.
Yeah. Oh, I want to add the ship that they literally claimed, they ended up claiming, oh, we attacked the wrong ship. The ship they said they attacked was, you guys were 5 times the size. You had antennas that it didn't have. You had an American flag flying. So it was very deliberate. And I was reading, I mean, I booked this interview last minute, but I was trying to read up on it. And I was reading somewhere, one of the pilots that attacked, apparently he radioed in and said it's an American ship. And the guy replied, follow orders, attack. And he's like, sir, it's an American ship. Second time, and he goes, follow orders. Is that correct? I might not have summarized it exact word for word, but...
Absolutely. They said Americide.
Yeah, because the guy that was attacking was trying to say, hey, I can't attack the ship's American. And he said, basically, he got overruled. He said, follow order, something along those lines, correct?
Attack it now. And they did.
Yeah, it's insane. Especially this was pretty much obviously deliberate and then completely covered up.
Completely covered up, and it took them 17 hours to come to our aid.
With people dying on the ship?
Oh, absolutely.
So you guys were there wounded, probably not very many pain bills, probably not great doctors, and they took 17 hours?
Yeah, we had one doctor aboard the ship.
One doctor for 179 wounded?
Yeah, Dr. Richard Kiefer, and he was wounded. And
So the doctor was wounded. Wow.
In his knees. He had a life jacket on to keep his guts from falling out.
So his guts are falling out, and he was the doctor.
Yeah, he stood on those legs for all those hours and operated on people. In fact, I helped him with one operation holding a battle lamp.
Wow.
It's a big light.
Yeah.
And Gary Blanchard.
What's this guy's name again? He sounds
Gary
like a brave
Blanchard.
man. Yeah, is he still alive today or no?
No, he was on the table and he was hurt. He was hurting bad.
Yeah, what a great man though.
He looked. Oh yeah, absolutely. He says, "Hey man, would you take off my socks? My feet are hot." And so I rubbed his feet. I went up and he says, "Hey man, you think I'm going to make it?" I says, "No man, I don't think you're not. I don't think you're going to make it." I regret saying that, but I didn't want to lie to him.
Yeah, I don't think you really can lie to someone in that situation. I think you got to be honest, but that's tough.
Doc cut him open and he was dead, and he's put a couple of stitches in him, and moved on to the next one. That went on all night.
Jesus.
All night. The mess decks was full of people. It was a sea of blood and broken men on the tables, on the floors, everywhere you could see a person. There was a person in grave danger of dying.
Left you there for 17 hours. Our America's military,
Left us out
the
there.
greatest military in the planet.
Right, absolutely. They didn't even send a Piper Cub over to see how we were doing.
That must have been tough for you mentally to be there with these people dying and brutally trying to help them. And you were injured yourself, right? Not as bad as a lot of these people, but you were also injured. But
I was wounded. They called it the walking wounded. Thank God.
What was your injury?
I had shrapnel in my arm, my leg.
Which normally would be an injury, but when you're watching people dying, you're like, you're not even.
Nothing. When
you watch people bleeding out, dying in front of you, a little shrapnel, you're like, oh, it just is what it is.
Just lucky to be breathing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watching that must just be horrifying.
It was terrible.
What was going through your head of like, Israel attacked you, America's not coming to your aid? I can't imagine what was going through everyone's head at that time.
Well, my thought was, Jake, is something else must be going on big in the world. World War III somewhere, something. And we're just a little ship. They couldn't come help us. I mean, I knew America wouldn't leave us out there. It had to be something else. But we find out later that LBJ and Levi Eskol, the Prime Minister of Israel, colluded together to send us into that war zone, sink us, and blame it on the Arabs.
Yes, they called you last minute to send you there. So exactly, it was deliberate. And LBJ, that was the President of the United States at the time, for people who don't know. Because there might be some younger people watching this. That was literally the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Israel, you said, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're the ones that sent you there. They knew it was going to attack, and they left you there for 17 hours. Do you think they wanted the ship to sink, or why do you think they left you there for 17 hours?
They left us there for 17 hours, hoping we'd sink. Mm-hmm. But by the grace of God, we didn't. When that torpedo hit, it picked the ship completely up out of the water, and it brought it down, bang, 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 and it listed to the starboard side, just kept on going like this.
Yeah.
And I said, man, this sucker's going to turn over. It just stopped. The hand of God was under it.
Yeah, she got lucky. So you think this was attack to basically blame Egypt probably to launch a war and take more land in Egypt?
Right. Well, get this, there were SAC aircraft on their way to the Middle East even before we were attacked. So they had this whole planned out. The mighty IDF couldn't sink an old World War II Kaiser-built ship.
They thought it was going to be easy, probably, right? It didn't
Easy
work.
pickings.
They
Easy
probably
pickings.
abandoned it because they got the SOS call. So
Right. And then the cover-up. Then the cover-up really began.
yeah. So well, real quick, let's go into the motives. I mean, set up war. This is something the U.S. has done and Israel has done multiple times. Levant affair, they bombed U.S. interests, and tried blaming it on, I think it was Egypt as well.
Right.
They've there's been multiple. I mean, the U.S. has gotten to wars by attacking our own ships. Didn't in Vietnam? Didn't we blow up one of our own ships too? I think.
Yeah, that was the USS Maddox. Strangely enough, I got out of the Navy, went back in the Navy for 2 years. Guess what ship I ended up on? The USS Maddox, DD-731.
Yeah, I'm surprised you went back in after this, but we can get into that towards the end of the podcast. But after the way they treated you, I mean, I can't imagine what's going through your head. So yeah, let's get into the cover-up. That's something I don't know much about. It just seems baffling to me. This was such a big event, and it just disappeared. So initially, there was one day it was front page papers in the media. Then after that, what happened? It just disappeared.
Yeah, it was front page, second page, and last page, and gone.
So just the media just refused to cover it, basically.
Absolutely, it was a complete blackout. Complete blackout.
Yeah, I mean, most people know the media is Jewish controlled in America, but it's also not just Jewish controlled. Most of it has ties directly to Israel intelligence stuff, or a lot of it does. So for sure, that's a big part of the blackout on the Israel attacking American ship.
Well, the media blacked it out. Our own Congress people did. Every president since LBJ to Biden has said it was a mistaken identity, and everybody knows it wasn't.
Yeah, history doesn't cover it. I was never taught about this.
Right. That's why.
Yeah.
They
Out
should
of
teach
the survivors, how many of them thinks it was deliberate attack versus how many of them thinks it was a mistake?
all of them think it was
100%.
Yeah, yeah.
And what was there, about 200 and something survivors
Let's see.
originally?
Yeah, there was 34 killed, and so yeah, there was about 200 survivors.
It's universal. Everyone thinks it was a deliberate attack.
Yeah, yeah. It was.
Except the higher ups. Well, some of the higher ups I was reading, so a lot of people do think it was a cover up. I saw people in NSA, unfortunately I can't remember names, but a lot of people, a lot of generals and stuff did think it was a cover up, but they just got they kept getting just pushed aside.
Well, interestingly enough, when the U.S. America came and the USS Davis come along, the Davis, they put some men aboard the ship to help us try to plug up the bulkheads. They were bowed out I mean, they were seams broken, water was coming in. So we got the bulkheads kind of stable, and they took all the wounded off, the most seriously wounded off to the America for more definitive care. And several days after that, Admiral Isaac Kidd came aboard our ship. He was in charge of the Board of Inquiry with his legal JAG officer, Captain Ward Boston. And we got drilled by them.
What do they tell you?
Well, first of all, I was in sick bay. There was 4 or 5 of us. And he took his stars off his lapel and threw them on the stainless steel table. It rang out like a bell. He kind of stood there and he says, guys, I got to find out what went on here. I want to get the truth from you. You were there. You saw it. I'm your dad now. Tell me exactly what happened.
So we took off the stars to try to act like it's like a personal, not military.
Right, a very personal type deal. And I was relieved. I said, hey, man, this is cool because I can tell this guy the way I feel.
Yeah, you thought you could trust him and be honest. Like, he's taking the stars off. He's not your supervisor now. He's wanting to hear the truth.
Right, absolutely. And I asked him personally. I said, well, Admiral, just don't call me Admiral. Just talk to me like I'm your dad. I said, well, sir. He said, you don't have to call me sir. I said, okay. Why didn't you come help us? We saw him shoot our life rafts, napalm. You left us out there 17 hours. And our best friends in the whole wide world did this. I didn't say that then, but I said Israel. And why didn't you come help us? He looked at me, and he got beet red, and he got right in my face, and he says, don't you ever repeat a word that you ever said to anybody again, including your families, your shipmates, or anybody else, or I'll see you in prison or worse. You know what worse means?
What a fucking weasel.
Yeah.
It's basically he threatened to execute you if you spoke on it.
Yeah.
Which, the military can do. They can get you
No,
for...
but they took away our First Amendment rights. They took away every right we had and told us to shut up.
Wow.
And I didn't talk about it for 18 years after that.
So that's part of the reason why it got covered up, because they told you guys not to talk, and everyone was too scared because they could court-martial you and stuff. You're in the military still, right? Now you're out, so you can, but when you're in the military, they could.
Right. They can, and when you're in the military, man, it's...
Like you said, they can prison you or worse. They can execute you.
It's a different deal, it really is.
Yeah, what a piece of shit. Comes in acting like he's a friend, and then he's a scumbag.
Well, yeah, he put his stars back on, Jake.
Yeah, what a
And
scumbag.
now I'm an admiral again and did that to all of us. And,
Yeah. And where do you think his orders came from?
his orders came directly from John S. McCain Jr. He was a commander, Europe Forces. And his orders came from LBJ. Find the ship was attacked by mistaken identity by the Israeli forces, and they apologized.
So they didn't even really do an inquiry. They just decided what happened and told you what to say. They
Yeah.
didn't even ask for your opinions.
No, well, they did, but they,
Told you to shut the fuck up.
yeah, they absolutely told us
Yeah.
to shut the fuck up.
So you did no media or anything for 18 years, talked to no one about it, even probably hardly your family and friends?
No, I didn't talk to anybody. In fact, I'd gotten a divorce from my first wife.
Yeah, it's probably eating you up, right? Trying to deal with this.
Right, absolutely. And then I met my second wife, and we were married a year and a half. I never told her I was in the military.
Wow.
And I saw an article in the old Rocky Mountain News in Denver by Stan White. He was a master chief, E9 chief, talking about the Liberty. And Jake, I felt like the whole world had just come off my shoulders. Because I says, if he can talk about it, I am. I'm going to start talking about it. And I haven't shut up since.
That's crazy that no one talked about it. What do you say, 13 years?
18 years.
18 years. That's insane.
18 years.
So it was pretty much completely forgotten, buried history.
Yeah, and I wanted it forgotten. I even forgot what day it happened.
Yeah,
That's
so
how far
basically just a
back-
blacked out memory. It was
blacked
so
out.
awful and so traumatic, and
Yeah.
the people betrayed you. Yeah, because you said you you stayed in the military after this. And I can't imagine, I guess in your mind, you tried to bury it and almost acting like it didn't happen.
Right. Well, I got out 2 months short of 4 years on December the 12th, 1967. A year and a half, 2 years after that. I wasn't working. I had a baby and a wife. Couldn't find a good job. I said, oh, shit, I'll just go back in the Navy for a few years so I can feed them and whatever. And that's when I got aboard the Maddox. Interestingly enough, those guys said, hey, man, that never happened. I mean, they still had guys on there that were there then. So that was all bullshit.
Yeah, they tried to say a conspiracy theory. I don't know if you know Charlie Kirk. He's a big mainstream media guy.
Oh, yeah,
I saw
Charlie,
an interview of him the other day. Someone asked him about the USS Liberty, and he got mad and yelled. And he goes, "That's a conspiracy!" He started
Yeah.
yelling at the guy.
Yeah, well, Charlie Kirk is he's a cover-up artist.
Yeah, how does it make you feel when you see someone that yell at a guy that asked about Liberty and starts yelling at him and says that's a conspiracy theory when you watch your friends die in front of your eye?
I think he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, what a scumbag, right?
Yeah.
Selling his soul for shekels.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look at the bought and paid for Congress. They haven't helped us, and ever since we've been trying.
Yeah, so what happened with the inquiries? It pretty much got buried. I did see, unfortunately, I can't remember names because I was reading over a bunch of documents, but a lot of people did say they thought people high up in the military and NSA thought it was a deliberate attack, but they seem to just keep getting pushed aside by the very high ups.
Right. Well, Admiral Thomas Moore, he was the longest-serving four-star admiral and a very decorated admiral. He served as former European and Pacific. He's the only one
Yeah.
that did that. And he became chairman, chief joint of staff twice. He had that honor of serving there. He was our great friend. And he pleaded and pleaded and pleaded with Congress to investigate this, and they wouldn't even listen to him. Arleigh Burke, same way. They called him Mr. Navy.
Their APAC handlers probably told him not to.
Absolutely. In fact, he told me, Admiral Moore, he says, Phil, I had orders from an Israeli ambassador. I think this was during Yom Kippur or something like that. He says, I need this, this, and this, this. And he says, I can't give you that. It takes Congress to do that. He says, don't worry about Congress. I'll take care of Congress. Just get me what I need. So that's how powerful the APAC is and ADL is.
Yeah, they got a lot of power. The APAC, ADL, you can see now, people are seeing it now. They control our politicians. They jump, like this package for Gaza. They won't give money for our borders, but they have emergency meetings to send Israel more money when we already send them billions of dollars. Plus, we pay all the countries around them not to go to war with them. So it's
Absolutely.
the amount of money we spend in Israel, plus we fight their wars. Iraq was a lot of it because Israel wanted to overthrow Iraq.
Yeah, well, look at George Bush. Here we go with weapons of mass destruction. It was all bullshit.
Yeah, and Benjamin Netanyahu was feeding him that propaganda.
Who did that war benefit?
Israel.
Afghanistan. Who did that war benefit? Israel. Who's
Syria.
this war benefiting? I mean, what's going on in Gaza right now, for any thinking, loving human being to look at what's going on in Gaza, you just have to break into tears.
Yeah, it's the most brutal thing I've ever seen, which made me start, that's what caused me to start going down this rabbit hole, realizing they're not our friends. I mean, I'm on all those Telegram channels, and it's just hard watching the brutality of it. And a lot of the culture, it seems like they just don't care. Like, we were just talking about earlier, there was the podcast, they said if they could, they would just, on a podcast, a big Israel podcast, they said if they could push a button, they would just nuke them all, and most Israelis would, stuff like that.
I saw the same thing. The Israeli brothers, I forget their names, two brothers.
Yeah.
Let me push that button. I'll push it right now. Wiping out a civilization.
Yeah, and they have rape and torture camps there that are well known, and they just don't close. Like when U.S. got caught doing that, that was an embarrassment. We shut them down. People went to jail. Israel doing that is completely ignored.
Well, Tom Massey.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he is. He come out and said, everybody in the Republican Party, and we'll assume the Democratic Party too. I mean, they control both branches of the government and the executive, whatever, they control it all. So they have APAC handlers. So they have to run everything by a foreign government for our own American policy? Are you kidding me?
His wife mysteriously died right after that.
I know it.
Not saying any allegations there, but it's a little mysterious. I mean, Massey's great, someone I'm trying to get on my podcast as well. But he's obviously, dealing with his wife recently passing and
it's a sad situation.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy, and his wife just randomly just dropped dead.
Well, we had Pete McCluskey. He was a former congressman from Northern California, and Paul Finley from Illinois, and Jim Trafficant from Ohio. They all supported this, and Jim, he got thrown in jail. Did some time for a phony deal, and then he mysteriously dies on a tractor.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that one.
Right,
he was trying to fight APAC and stuff. Right,
absolutely. And he was trying to help the USS Liberty.
Is there anyone now trying to get it investigated, or is it pretty much buried?
Well, I think we have to go through our APAC handlers to find that out.
Yeah, so Congress basically just ignores you guys.
They're bought and paid for.
And same with the military; they just completely ignore you guys.
Yeah, they ignore us. But it takes Americans, in the American public and the people in the military now, especially in the military, that say that this never happened or whatever. Believe me, it happened.
Yeah, they call it a conspiracy theory, and you watched it with your own eyes. It's well documented. Like, no one denies it happens. They just try being like, we accidentally attacked them. When they identified it was an American ship, they saw you guys flying American flag, 5 times the size of the ship they said they meant to attack, international waters. Like, there's just too many aspects for it to be random.
Yeah, and the attack was probably planned a year or so in advance.
That's true. It probably wasn't random. They had it set because they preemptively attacked Egypt. They probably had the ship pulled up there. Like you said, you got pulled up real quick, put in place. They wanted to sink it, like they did with the Von Fair. I mean, there's fingerprints of 9/11. I'm not going to say that was or wasn't, but as you aware, there's all these attacks that could be, false flags.
Yeah, absolutely false flag. The USS Liberty, though, was the spearhead because we're eyewitnesses to cold-blooded, premeditated murder, and our own government setting itself to be slaughtered by a foreign government to bring us into a war. We were only minutes away from World War III if our ship goes down. That was the whole plan.
Yeah.
Whole plan, Jake.
Yeah, America would have been bloodthirsty after that.
Absolutely.
Egypt sank a ship on international waters with 290-something U.S. servicemen, spy ship, not armed. That would be. But what we do with Israel, giving them more money.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think our response should have been? Overthrow their government?
Well, I don't know what the response can be then or now, but our government has been subsidiary to Israel. When Israel attacked our ship, they got more money than they ever got before from the U.S. government, and they're getting barrels and barrels of it every day.
Yeah, we give them billions of dollars every year, plus all kinds of other like hidden money. Like we just gave them like 18, 20 billion, something like that. We pay all the people around them not to attack them. It's ridiculous. Something that I saw that really fucking pissed me off is I saw the 34 dead. Israel gave, I think it was like $3 million after much fighting to them, after we give them billions of dollars. So that's about $90,000 per dead. That's what they think that's what they think a life's worth. An American life, $90,000. We give them billions of dollars. They didn't even want to give that. That's basically, they might as well fucking spit on you. Imagine they killed someone's father or husband, and after much hassling, like, oh, here's $90,000. It's a big fuck you.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a big fuck you. And I'll tell you another thing. They said they gave $6 million for the ship. The ship was worth $40 million, not counting the reparations.
So they didn't even pay for the ship.
No, and the money that came out that they paid came out of the U.S. Treasury. It didn't come out of Israel.
So they didn't even pay it.
No, they didn't pay it. Our own
The
government paid it.
$90,000
Yeah.
for the fucking dead. How much did you get being injured?
I got $200.
$200.
$200.
I'd rather them spit on me.
Yeah, I know it.
Did you tell them to fuck off, or what was your reaction?
Well, my reaction was, you better sign this and get it over with, and just get rid of this. I'm done.
Was that when you were still in the military and stuff, or you weren't talking about it yet, huh?
I just gotten out of the military, and I said, Jesus, man, just leave me alone. I'd have signed anything. Just forget it and get it over with. Because I had a family, and there was nothing I could do. I was a little old E4 petty officer.
Yeah, so you didn't want to cause problems to your family speaking up. I understand it, but especially you're young. What, you're like 21, 20 years old when that happened?
Yeah, I just turned 21 when I got out.
Yeah, you're brainwashed to believe Israel's our ally. You know, America's out to help you, so it's just got to be overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I knew they'd never been our ally since that day. But again, I blocked it out of my mind until Stan did his article. And
You saw him speaking out, and you're like, I can too.
It really made me joyous. My heart felt open.
Yeah, I can imagine that must have felt good. And who was the guy? Who was the first guy that spoke out again? Stan.
Master Chief Stan White. He's passed on now.
Yeah, but that's great that he had the balls to come out and
absolutely
the first one to do it. But now a lot of guys are, right, or more and more.
Yeah, there's we have the USS Liberty Veterans Association, and we're a small group.
Yeah.
Because everybody's dying off. We lost 3 or 4 in the last couple of years. You know,
yeah, now it's gaining a lot of traction now. So hopefully some of the guys can last for a while, because it's important for guys like you to come on and come on these podcasts and wake the world up.
Well, that's my duty. I'm president of the USS Liberty Veterans Association, and it's my great honor to represent these gallant, beautiful heroes that I was so fortunate to serve with. And the men that died that day will never be in vain. And they got to be remembered. Their lives meant something. Young men.
Yeah, instead they were just like buried and called liars and pushed away.
Pushed away.
Yeah, do you guys meet often with the group? Or?
We've been trying to do it every year.
Yeah.
We met last year in Arlington, Virginia.
Yeah, I was reading before I came over here. Some guy, I guess his father died when he was 2. So he said he goes every year. So
yeah.
It's definitely sad, but.
It is sad. It is sad. There's a mass grave in Arlington. And on it, they had died in the Eastern Mediterranean on this granite monument. Admiral Moore was furious. It took him several years. They ground that off and finally put killed aboard the USS Liberty. But they didn't say by who.
Wow. They still won't put it on there. They refuse to.
No, they won't. On my award, I got a Bronze Star with a V. And it's a significant award. I'm not trying to say I'm a hero or nothing. All the awards were like that. But it was a significant Captain's Award, Medal of Honor. Very, very nice and stuff like this. But it never did say who did it. It's like a ghost did it.
Yeah, it's a war that doesn't exist. Like,
Yeah,
who attacked you?
Right. How deep and corrupt is our government?
Yeah, I think that's probably, to my knowledge, just the only time we've ever been attacked like that and not responded.
No, not responded.
Like at all. Responded by giving them more money.
No. And Admiral Arleigh Burke said, he says, I can't imagine why our country didn't support that ship.
Yeah, it's baffling. So the news was pretty, like you said, it was a couple of days and just got buried, huh?
Buried and buried and buried.
Yeah,
and,
not in history books, not many,
No. If it's in the history books, it's quoted as mistaken identity. If you go to Wikipedia, mistaken identity. Anywhere you go, mistaken identity.
Wikipedia says it gives kind of a, they might change a little bit now because it says it's fair. A lot of people think it wasn't. It says, in Wikipedia, I was reading up a lot of, unfortunately I can't remember the names, but it was talking about a lot of military people in NSA do think it was a deliberate attack.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they all got basically just shut down by higher ups.
Yep. And it's happening right now. You know, they're too afraid. They're too afraid to open this up because of the consequences of our own government with a foreign government to do this to American servicemen.
You know, because it just shows how much control Israel has over America, and it goes deep. So once they open this up, it opens up multiple other things.
Absolutely. Well, you know, Jake, when they attack one, they attack all of us. And I'm not just talking about the people in the military.
Yeah.
When they attacked our ship, they attacked
that's
you.
an attack on America.
They attacked you. They attacked everybody.
I agree. That's where I was furious when I read about this. I never heard that was an attack on all Americans. You know,
Yes.
You're the ones that suffered from it, but we all suffer. America all suffers when we lose like this. That's why military is so important to us, because that's what keeps us safe and free. So attacking our military is attacking all Americans.
Absolutely. It's an attack on all Americans, and it's still happening right now. The USS Liberty story must be told, and it must be on every podcast, everywhere around the world, to get this is a world story too.
Yeah, I think something that upsets me is I have a lot of veteran friends, and a lot of them are hardcore Israel supporters, and I tell them about the liberty and stuff, and they just kind of blow it off. And it's like, how could you be a veteran and just blow off your brothers getting killed by Israel? That just really pissed me off. I got in a fight with my friends over that. I got in an argument because he's just trying to blow off like, oh, it's not a big deal, this and that. Like, dude, you're a freaking veteran. You're saying it's not a big deal. Like, I wouldn't want to fight along someone like you.
No, I mean, hey, listen, some people will never be swayed. They're pure Zionists, or they want to believe Israel, whatever they say. But as veterans, they're the only ones who's going to help us as far as in the military. And people like you spreading the word is our only chance to get these people, even if we never get a congressional investigation, at least we'll be on record telling them exactly what the hell they did.
Yeah, if nothing else, Americans should know. Like, they deserve a right to know that we were attacked.
It's their right to know. They pay the bills.
What when you first started speaking out, what was the reaction? Did you have any weird reaction from Israel or the military, or positive reactions?
I and my wife were in San Diego about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a little longer. We were at a restaurant bar. We were at the bar having a cocktail. This fella sat next to me on the right-hand side. He says, "Oh, you were on the Liberty, huh?" And I said, "Yeah, how'd you know that?" And he had a big watch on, something similar to what I got on. He stuck it right in my face, and I said, "Man, that's got to be a camera or something. Get that on my face." And I pushed his hand away. And I said, "Who are you?" He says, "Listen, you shouldn't be talking about the USS Liberty anymore." I says, "Just who in the hell are you?" And he says, I'm from the Mossad, and I'm giving you a message."
Wow.
My wife heard it. She went almost absolutely crazy over this guy. I mean, she's furious. Lisa's her name, and boy, she's more fired up.
She started yelling at him.
Yeah. So the security had to take us up into our room.
Interesting.
We stayed there that night. Next morning, I went down there and tried to find out who this dude was, and the bar manager said, "Yeah, he's been coming here for the last couple of days, saying he was a doctor."
Dang.
So he was scoping out the place. How they know I was there? Not unless my credit card or whatever.
Yeah, they can. Israel has a lot of back doors to all of our technology.
Well, if I fall down and die today, you better make sure that's exactly what happened. I didn't get hot shot or
Make
something.
sure they didn't kill you some way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, it's scary that they do have Mossad is well known for assassinations. That's what they do. They go around and they openly kill people all the time, and they quite likely
brag
kill.
about it.
Yeah, I mean they tried to kill Truman.
Right.
They tried to kill him with letter bombs. A lot of people, there's fingerprints all over John F. Kennedy.
Absolutely.
That's a deep thing to go into. Probably not worth going to this podcast, but there's he was trying to shut down their nuclear program and what turned into AIPAC, and then with Jack Rubenstein ties to the Jewish mafia. It goes deep. The MK Ultra ties.
It goes on and on. With 911 and everything. I know we're not going to get into that, but it seems like.
So you seem very aware of all the stuff going on with Israel.
Oh,
it goes. Yeah, once you start digging, at first you feel like you're crazy, and then you start seeing it's just over and over how they're just screwing America.
Yeah, I mean, how many times can you punch a balloon until it,
Yeah.
finally lets the air out? And what's going on in Gaza is letting the air out of that balloon slowly but surely, but people can see.
I think they overplayed their hand with Gaza because it's woken so many people up to just see the brutality of what they're doing. And then you start questioning, like, and you also watch how they constantly lie. Like 40 beheaded babies never happened. The mass rape never happened. They repeat these things over and over, and then you see they're all lies. So it's like, okay, how much their country is built on a lie? So I've been to Israel before. When I first went there, they repeated it over and over. This is always our land, all this. So after I went there, I went into a deep dive in the history and saw that was all just a lie, that it was all stolen land in, the early 1900s.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And all the news stations, the mainstream media, they're pretty much on Israel's side, especially Newsmax.
Yeah.
And they got Carl Higby. He's a Navy SEAL. I respect his service. Greg Kelly, he's a Marine pilot. I respect his service. But they won't talk about the USS Liberty. They won't talk about anything but what the scroller says at the bottom. Israel says this. Israel says that. They don't have the other side.
Yeah, it's all one-sided. Back to real quick, something interesting. When I was looking at the Wikipedia, it jumped into. I was reading the Liberty Wikipedia incident, and then it goes same day it happened. So I clicked on that, and it was multiple massacres throughout Israel and Egypt. There was one where they, I can't remember the names of them, but they had 52 prisoners that turned themselves in, and they massacred them, shot them in the head. There was another one, I think it was 400 people. They buried them alive.
Yeah.
It's like, and that was the same day. And other people, they ran over 100 other prisoners with, was it bulldozers?
Bulldozers. Look at Rachel Corrie.
Yeah. Rachel Corrie, an American citizen, patriot. I think she was like 23 years old, college student. She was in Israel to protest. They were destroying Palestinians' houses. So she was standing there trying to block them, and they saw her in their eyes and just crushed her to death with a bulldozer.
She didn't move.
No, they crushed her to death. And then afterwards, they threw a pancake party to celebrate and mock her death. And then no politicians in America will speak against it because it's just...
They're bought and paid for, Jake. If they're not, they don't serve the United States people. They don't serve our republic. And we're going to lose our republic if a foreign nation dictates to us what we're doing. And that country is Israel. They got us under their thumb, and they know it. When they say jump, they say how high. They tell you to squat, you better start squatting right then.
Yeah,
and all of them are like that.
Yeah, you see the politicians like on Twitter. All they do is they just tweet out nonstop just ridiculous things about how much Israel is or how much they love Israel, not America. Another thing that pissed me off was during these wars, they had emergency meetings to get funding for Ukraine and Israel. They talked about how they're going to fund our borders, but they ended up cutting that out and just give the funding for the wars. It's like they don't care about the country. They want open borders here and funding for Israel. And Israel has one of the strongest borders in the world that we pay for.
Yeah, absolutely. And they got the Iron Dome too. These people are neocons. They just want war after war after war after war. We can't. How are we going to withstand it? I mean, we got open borders we can't take care of. We're paying for 2 wars we can't take care of. We're housing all these immigrants and terrorists. It's just a matter of time, Jake, till something happens in this country. And that will probably be something done by the very people we're talking about.
No, I think America needs to wake up and wake up quick because we don't have very long. It's like you can see the country on the brink of not being repairable. We can't be bringing in countless immigrants and giving them free shit. If people are going to come in, they have to come in and work for themselves. But to bring people in and give them free housing, free medical, when we don't get it, I don't get free medical and free housing.
No, but that's what they're getting because they're looking for voters.
I think you're in Colorado. You said, right? Isn't it in Colorado that the Venezuelan gangs are taking over apartment complexes now? Have you seen that?
Aurora?
Yeah, I haven't followed the details of that, but it seems like these gangs are coming in and taking over apartment complexes. And they're killing people in there. I read child prostitution.
Oh, yeah.
And how are they allowing this when they're not sending in the military to bust them up?
Well, Mayor Kaufman, I believe is his name of Aurora, he's part of the problem. And the big problem is our our governor, Jared Polis. He's completely destroyed our state in several years.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize the importance of the smaller elections over the president. I think the smaller elections are even more important, like who's your governor, who's your mayor. That's what causes places to really fall apart. I'm from California, San Francisco. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the place is just I watched it just slowly decay over like 10 years. It was already had some problems, but then it just got worse and worse and worse. And now it's just an unlivable shithole. Just drug addicts all over the streets, robberies, people getting shots. All the businesses are shutting down downtown. One of the 49ers just got shot in a robbery in Union Square, which used to be the nicest shopping area. Now it's all like empty and robberies. The guy that shot him had been arrested 3 days earlier with a gun charge and let right out. They're just not enforcing crime. And you watch, it almost seems like people running are deliberately trying to cause the decay.
Yeah, absolutely. Cause the decay of the fabric of America. Our way of life will not continue if this continues. And Jake, I don't know what your feelings are on Harris or Trump, but what do you do? The lesser two evils?
Yeah, I mean, I'm torn if I'm going to vote or not because I think Trump's the lesser of two evils, but
Yes.
it's like he's all
Pro-Israel.
he does is talk about Israel.
Yeah.
It's like he goes, I'm going to do more for Israel. But really, I think they're both equally pro-Israel. He just talks it more. I think he's trying to get in votes. I think Harris is just as pro-Israel too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, Harris or Trump, I'm giving you a request. Do you support Americans being slaughtered by the Zionist state? Will you investigate what they never have investigated in 57 years? Will you do what you say you love veterans? And just because it was 57 years old, it doesn't mean anything. That this is a bad deal. It's an ongoing deal, and they can help it right now. Tell the damn truth. Tell the truth to America, to the world, what they did to USS Liberty and everything afterwards.
Yeah, unfortunately, neither one of them will.
No.
We both know neither one of them will.
Well,
And
at least I'm on record saying it.
yeah, I mean, Trump said he was going to release the JFK files, but once he saw what was in the files, he's like, oh, I can't release these.
Yeah, I know
The
it.
American people see what's in these files, they'll freak out. And I think we both kind of know what's in those files that he doesn't want to release. Our
Right,
greatest ally.
Yeah, LBJ and our greatest ally, I have a suspicion, were behind that.
Yeah, I haven't gone down that rabbit hole, but I know a lot of people think Lyndon Johnson was involved with the assassination. And then
Right.
you think, it looks like he was involved with the cover-up of the U.S. Liberty,
Right.
which would make sense if tied in with the same people.
Well, they wanted Kennedy dead because of Dimona. He was going to stop it. Nuclear plant.
Yeah, it was a nuclear program, which a lot of it was stolen from U.S. technology.
Absolutely, or given to him.
Yeah, given to him, I guess, by exactly.
Jonathan Pollard. Look at all these guys. I mean,
Yeah, Jonathan Pollard is one of the worst spies in U.S. history, stealing all of our secrets. And then
Yeah.
he gets freed from prison eventually, and he gets picked up by Sheldon Alderson, picks him up on his private plane, and flies him directly to Israel. Heroes welcome with Netanyahu.
Yeah.
This guy is Trump's biggest donor,
yeah,
or his wife is now because he passed away.
unbelievable.
Yeah, no, so it's unfortunate they control from all, it's not just AIPAC, it's donations, this type of stuff. And things like blackmail, Jeffrey Epstein, dad, was involved. Ghislaine Maxwell was Mossad. That was a blackmail operation for Israel.
Yeah. Well, Matilda Krim, going back to Johnson, she was a Irgun agent running guns.
Who was this? What was his name?
Matilda Krim.
Okay.
Her and her husband were friends with LBJ. In fact, she was in LBJ's bed. This is what I heard. The night of our attack, the night of attack.
Oh, wow. She's connected to Mossad.
Yes. So that's how deep it goes.
You said John McCain was involved with the cover-up too, correct?
Absolutely, John McCain.
Yeah.
And his son was too. He was at a rally when he was running for president in San Diego, and a friend of mine, James Morris, he was there. In fact, I just left San Diego a couple of days before that, or I'd have been there. And I said, James, if you want to just go up and ask him about the Liberty. And he said, he was yelling out, what about the USS Liberty? What about the USS Liberty? He says, you jerk. And the security ran him out of there. They manhandled him out of there.
Yeah, these people get mad when you mention it, like Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro. They don't just they get mad and yell at you and call you conspiracy theory. They just want to shut it down and no talk of it.
Well, what's the proof behind the conspiracy theory? They want to get me on their podcast, an eyewitness to this attack, to what they've done of America, and to have other survivors there and call us liars. Let's see what a conspiracy theorist you think it is then, both of them.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk should have you on to talk to him.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to him.
Be a cold day in hell.
Yeah,
But
right.
I invite Charlie Kirk
he
to-
won't do it. But hey, maybe he'll realize he's wrong and realize he's been on the wrong side and wants to. I don't think this will happen, but maybe he'll realize he's been shilling for the wrong people and he'll do some soul searching and will.
Well, you better start shilling for the American people, not a foreign government.
The good thing is people are waking up and they're seeing it. People are seeing all these people are fake. For me, I consider myself part of the the free speech kind of right, anti-war, and then I watch Israel happened, and I watched all these influencers were clearly just full of shit. They started shilling for war, more money for Israel, after we were saying we didn't want to give any more money for these foreign wars. I go, oh, these people are all paid. I started, tracking down the whole, seeing where, oh yeah, these guys all are paid.
Yeah, they're paid. Mm-hmm. They're paid very well.
Yeah, a lot of them have direct connections, like Ben Shapiro, almost certainly to Israel. Like Breitbart News was founded in Israel.
I understand, but it's all a big cabal. Mm-hmm. And who controls it? The Zionist State, AIPAC, ADL, and their handlers.
Yeah, but if you say this, they call you an anti-conspiracy theorist.
Listen, I didn't kill anybody. Mm-hmm. Israel did all the murdering. We didn't kill anybody. We didn't fire a shot. And they slaughtered my shipmates and almost killed me, almost killed us all. So screw all of them. They can go to hell.
No, exactly. They use these words to try to scare people and shut them down. And it used to work, but it's not working anymore. They have so much power, they would label you an then they'd ban you from everything, and they would just call you that, and you couldn't defend yourself. But people are seeing the truth now, and it's not working. I think the Great Awakening is happening.
Well, we've been called pigs because we tell the truth. Mm-hmm. In fact, the American Legion, one of the leading veterans organizations in this country, banned us from their conventions.
They banned you from the Veterans Convention?
Right. Glenn Oliphant and Ernie Gallo were there. We had sent $1,000 for a booth and a check because we try to get booze to let other veterans know because they don't know everything. We're just trying to educate them. And they said, well, you can't have a booth. We didn't get any money from you. So we sent it to you. And then I believe it was Ernie said, well, here's my credit card. I'll just go ahead and give you $1,000 and I'll get it back later. I said, no, you're not getting the booth here. And Glenn, he's a survivor. He took his American Legion card and tore it up, and it fell on this woman's breast. And they got him for assault.
Assault? And it was just...
And put him in jail.
Wow.
Put him in jail. And the American Legion has banned us for life. They don't want the USS Liberty mentioned.
They use that as an excuse to ban you for life.
Right, absolutely. That's how deep the American Legion is bought and paid for by the Zionist State. In fact, you look at all these veterans groups. Once you get to a position of commander or adjutant and things like that, you become a political arm of the Zionist State.
That's sad to hear.
It is sad.
Did any of these groups push you or no? Or any of them helping you guys out or not really?
Not really. We've had American Legion tried to get something done. This is before we got banned, and then VFW did some good things, but no, I mean they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything to help us.
Yeah, they want to bury it because they're trying to. They don't. It's a stain on the military. So they would rather bury it than confront it.
They're just waiting for all the survivors to die out, Jake.
Yeah, well, we'll keep the story going.
I know it, man, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, hopefully it's. No, I'm glad you're speaking up. I mean, like you said, have you gotten a lot of reception, or more recently, have people been noticing more, or how's
Yeah,
you're pretty much forgotten, right? Because I'd never even, shamefully, I've never heard about it till about a year ago. Yeah. I was angry when I read about Liberty. I was like, what? How did I not know about this? Because I follow history.
Well, it's been covered up so good. That's why you didn't know. It's not your fault. It's not the people's fault out there that don't know about it. But that's why I'm here doing this.
Yeah. So when you first started speaking up, though, were you getting much media stuff, or is it really difficult?
It was very difficult. We've gotten more traction in the last year than we ever had in the last 57.
Wow, that's got to suck, just be sitting there and being ignored and frustrated, knowing all this, and no one wanting to hear your story. But even still, no mainstream media, right? Just people like me with podcasts speaking to you. Like the mainstream media is still trying to blacklist you.
Right, absolutely. Podcasts like John Dixon. I did a podcast with him. He's a good friend of yours and mine.
Jocko, you went on there, which he's a big podcast. That was great.
Jocko's a great guy.
He's an ex-Navy SEAL, I think.
Yeah,
I know him. Trains jiu-jitsu. We've trained together a few times. He's a great guy.
He's a retired Navy lieutenant commander. He's a highly decorated man. Honest man, good man. Yeah,
I know him not real well, but we've hung out a few times, trained jiu-jitsu. He seems like a good, legit guy.
Yeah.
And he was super ballsy having you guys on because it's like, it's crazy that it's ballsy to bring on veterans to tell their story, but it's like they don't want the story told.
No, they don't. And you're doing it, and I hope that there's a hell of a lot more out there that will do it.
The floodgates are opening up. I think you're going to be getting a lot more media requests. Not mainstream media, but the mainstream media is dying, and that's the problem. They're losing control of the media between Twitter, Rumble, podcast, YouTube. If I keep that, we can come in and create our own media. We can bypass them now.
Yeah, absolutely. You can bypass them with not the garbage that they got a script. You go by the script, do it day after day after day, repeating the same old crap.
Yeah, I mean, during COVID, I realized just how fake. I mean, I already knew it was kind of fake, but I realized it's completely fake bullshit propaganda, and people will just do what they're told because COVID was complete horseshit. I knew right from the start. So that's when I first started using Twitter, and then recently, after this thing, I realized I should probably start with podcasts because there's not a lot of people willing to speak truth to people that are bought. But
No.
if people like me, but why can't I come out and do it? Since people aren't speaking truth, I can come out and do it.
Absolutely.
That's what's great with today. People can come and do our own platforms. We don't need the media.
Well, look what COVID did. It made the American people like sheeple.
Yeah.
You better do this. You better do that. You better wear a mask. Stay 5 feet away. Do all this other. I didn't wear a mask.
Yeah.
I would not wear a mask.
No, same. I put it on a couple times, but then after like a week or two, I just refused to do it. And I lived in San Francisco, so it caused a lot of problems.
I bet it did.
People would be like, "Oh, just put it on," but I'm like, "No, I'm not just putting
You're
a
gonna
fucking
kill us.
mask
You're
on my
gonna kill
face."
me.
It's like just follow. I'm not just following orders. If more people were like me, it couldn't have worked.
Yeah.
But it caused, I just tell people, "No, I'm not putting on a mask. Just deal with it."
Well, it destroyed a lot of people's lives, their businesses, and everything else, and that's so sad. They'll never get them back.
Yeah, I know multiple friends that lost businesses. People that got hooked on drugs. People OD'd. Humans are not meant to be isolated like that, and they just isolated us off and put us by ourselves. It was just not we're meant to be around people. We can't live that way. I mean, I'm not a depressive person, but when they isolate me off, put me in an apartment, tell me I can't be around other people, I start getting a little depressed. So that's why I started forcing, trying to get activities going, running. I had to run jiu-jitsu gym illegally. Like, how ridiculous is that? I had to like black out the windows and have illegal classes to go work out. Like, what kind of First Amendment is, or what kind of rights is this in the U.S.? They tried putting a curfew on San Francisco. Obviously, it wasn't enforced for all the homeless, but they tried being like I believe they said like 8 or 9 o'clock curfew in the beginning. And they tried saying things like, if you leave San Francisco, you can't come back into the county. Like, these people are crazy.
It's insane to think that the power over the people. Fauci is what he did to America is unconscionable.
Yeah, but it did start waking a lot of people up, I think, to how corrupt the government is. And for me, I never followed politics until then. It's like you're locked in a house, you got no choice. And that's when I figured, I have a platform from fighting, so I had to use my voice to start speaking out. And I think more and more people are.
Well, you've been fighting all your life, and look where you're at. You're still fighting.
Yeah, I think it comes naturally to me.
I know it.
That's what I retired from fighting, and I'm like, jumped into fighting politics. It's just natural to fight. So if I'm not like fighting anything, I'm not as happy.
Well, it's my great honor I'm going to call you my friend, Jake.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming out. This has been
it's really, this is a good conversation. And I'd like to bring up, go to USSLibertyVeterans.org. Excuse me. We're a small organization. What we're trying to do is people can join our organization for $20 a year. If you want to donate more, please do it. Because like I say, we're small and we need more people because we're going to die out. We need people to
keep it going,
like you to keep it going. But that's just what they're waiting for, us all to die out. But now we got a grip on young people like you and others that are not going to sit back and leave this alone. And that's the true heart of a patriot.
Yeah, I mean, a patriot's to fight for your country. And I think a lot of us are seeing that our country's been taken over by a foreign entity without war, and it's like we're fighting back against it. And say the name one more time of your website, USS?
USSLibertyVeterans.org.
Yeah, I know people definitely should go to that.
Oh, absolutely.
A couple more questions. I'm going to go back. What's your thoughts on the military now? I know you said both of your sons ended up serving in the military after your experience. What were your thoughts on that? Were you a little bit skeptical of that, or you're still super pro? Obviously, we need a military.
Right. My son, Bryce, he went in at, I believe, 20 years old. He went in the Army in the 10th Mountain Division and lost his right eye. And he said many operations, he's getting some vision back. It'll probably never be the same.
And yeah, lost his eye in Afghanistan in like a firefight, or what happened?
IED.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it shook the vehicle. It just shook his eye completely, almost out of his socket.
Wow, I mean that's terrible, but at least he has one eye and is alive. And
Yeah, and he works out too. He's a big guy. He's 6'6" and weighs about 250.
Oh wow, big guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big weightlifter. My other son is currently still serving. I'd rather not say what branch he's in. It's a little bit tender on that one.
Yeah, you might also get people like going after him for you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Got to watch out about that.
I know it, and it's sad you even have to think about that this day and age. But yeah, it's just they can ruin people's careers. They can ruin marriages.
Yeah, they go after. I noticed women get scared a lot, so they try to go after the women you're dating, get them scared with threats, and because they know men like us can usually handle the threats, but the women and kids, they freak out, rightfully so sometimes because they have kids to worry about. But they try scaring the families, breaking up marriages. They go after people, try to ruin you financially.
Absolutely, anything they can do to destroy you or ruin your credibility, where you have no way to fight back.
Yeah, it's but people are slowly waking up. So let me go through. I think I had some audience questions. Let's go through some of these real quick.
Sure.
I like to ask the audience to see things they like to ask. See if there's any interesting ones. This is like some reason having trouble. Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah, I just have the massacres written down. That's crazy. They're doing those massacres the same day they bombed you. They're massacring civilians.
Yes.
Okay, after seeing the cover-up that happened regarding the USS Liberty, did that have an effect on your views regarding foreign influences in our government and American sovereignty? I think, you kind of answered that already, right? I think
absolutely.
Majorly did.
Yeah.
So, absolutely, yeah, we kind of covered that. So, asked about a particular man that he served with and knew well in the USS Liberty who died. Ask him, I'll bring pictures of him, Bill. Yeah, too late for that, but you mentioned some of your friends that died. So.
Right.
Were any high-ranking military brass or any of his personal military friends mad about the cover-up? Did they complain about it?
Yes. Admiral Moore, Admiral Burke, and there's many, many more. But their voices were silenced. Shut up, be quiet. It's not going anywhere.
What does the typical veteran treat you guys? Do they support you, or do they want to kind of ignore it, or what kind of response you get from that?
The typical veteran, if they talk about it and listen, they're pissed off. Because, like I say, when you attack one, you attack all. You can't leave. You can't leave your servicemen out there to be slaughtered. You're supposed to come help them. That's what it's all about. The cavalry's coming. Well, the cavalry went the other way when Israel attacked our ship.
Yeah, I still can't believe, like you said, they called in SOS and they were told to ignore it, and then left you out there for 17 hours. The U.S. military, 17 hours. They have ships probably within 20 minutes, correct? 20, 30 minutes probably?
They could have got there within probably 3 hours or so, but they had aircraft could have got there in less than 40 minutes.
Yeah, the military can be anywhere quick in the world. And for 17 hours to let you guys bleed out and die, they wanted the ship to sink, it seems.
Absolutely. Well, there's approximately a 40 by 40 foot hole in the starboard side of the ship.
So they were just waiting for it to sink, but after 17 hours, they probably realized they couldn't just leave it any longer.
It broke the keel of the ship. How that old World War II ship stayed afloat, I don't know. But it was converted into a spy ship. It was an old Victory ship. I believe Kaiser made them. They were called one-wayers in World War II. But it was converted into the most sophisticated spy ship in the world. And like I say, they had the very finest CIA and NSA personnel on there doing their duty. And none of those guys, Jake, knew what they were doing. They did a job, but they didn't know what the other guys
They didn't know how to control those people didn't know how to control the ship or fight or anything. They were just for the spying, the separate group.
And we had none to fight with. The small arms locker I tried to get into, but I couldn't.
You guys didn't have, so that's like the machine guns and guns and stuff?
They
were all locked
we had
up?
some small arms, yeah.
What happened to the keys to that?
Thompson, he was the gunner's mate that got killed. The key was with him.
So he got killed right away. He was the only key?
Yeah, he was one of the first who got killed.
So you didn't even have any guns. So if they would have boarded the plane, you guys couldn't have even fought back.
No, we had none to fight back. The only thing we had to fight back with during the whole deal was our will and our wits to live. And we the mighty IDF did all that to us, and we kicked their ass. They couldn't even sink a defenseless ship.
Yeah, and guys like you, when this was happening, you were putting out fires, correct? You were out on the ship the whole time through machine gun fire coming through, but you risked your life as a soldier should.
Absolutely. Getting our wounded off. They would shoot at anything that moved, man. Anything that moved, man. You were fair game.
Yeah. Was there fires and stuff on the ship? Or?
Yeah, there was fires on the bridge of the ship, and then on the starboard side, back by the gun mount. James Smith was there fighting fires with the postal clerk. I forget his name, doggone it, I apologize. But Smitty had just went through the hatch, and Spicer, his name was Spicer. He was killed coming in, and
Yeah.
people tried to give him CPR and everything to help him, but he just died, man. And it was,
So you're during this, you're like fighting fires. People are getting shot all around you, just chaos, machine gun fires, and
everything.
your brain is just thinking, go, go, protect the ship.
Yeah, I really don't know what I was thinking. All I did know is I want to live. I didn't want to die,
Yeah.
but who does?
No, exactly. In those situations, all you can do is just
Do what you
march
taught.
forward. Trying to be a coward. Don't hide in the ship.
No, no. There was, I just no, none of that.
Yeah, protect your soldiers. That's what you're taught to do, as you should.
That's what the Navy taught us to do. And the old man, Captain McGonigal, he was very sticky on general quarters. Different drills. And we did them all the time. And all that training, it helped and soaked. And I went to firefighting schools and things like that before because I enjoyed it, putting out fires and doing things that I knew I could do.
Yeah.
And I did them well.
So you're getting machine gun and you're sitting there fighting the fires like the same time. Wow.
Yes.
But I guess if the fires get too big, the whole ship's going to go.
Yeah. That's what they meant with dropping napalm on us. I mean, war crime after war. There's so many war crimes that were committed that day you can't even count them.
Yeah, the napalm's pretty crazy because that's like a
Yeah, it
banned
is.
substance.
Oh, it's bad. It's jelly gasoline.
Yeah, I know they're dropping like white phosphorus and stuff, which is banned on Gaza now,
Yeah.
full of children.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they just bombed the school a few days ago.
Just bombed one today. I saw on Telegram this morning, bombed another one. Yeah, it's like almost every day they bomb a school.
I'm sorry to hear that, Jake.
Yeah, it's you look at the Telegram channel this morning, like, oh man, this is brutal.
It is brutal. It is brutal. They're in a they're in a little small area, just like our ship was. There's nowhere to go, nowhere to hide.
Yeah, I think their plans to get a lot more land though. They keep flying like Netanyahu and some of these guys. They keep coming out with a picture of Greater, which is
All of it.
It's pieces of all that land, and they're like
Yeah.
openly coming out showing that picture. They're not saying they're going to take it, but they'll have that picture like displayed places.
Yeah, and I believe it was Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, said it would make nice open or oceanfront property.
Yeah, it seems pretty clear that they're trying to take Gaza. They're just being so brutal, waiting for someone to take them. It seems like they're just slowly killing them all, hoping someone will come in and be like, oh, we'll take these people.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is, the West doesn't want any more, immigrants, especially, they're not exactly be pro-American when we help them kill them. You can understand those people probably don't love us. I wondered if we were helping kill them. And the Middle East doesn't want to take them because they know once they clear out that land, they're going to start trying to take more land. That's what people always think, oh, why doesn't, Egypt take them? Or why doesn't Jordan take them? It's like, well, because they want more land. Once they get this cleared, they're going to start going for more land. They're not going to stop.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You're exactly right. It's all nothing but a land grab, like in '67. What they didn't get in '67, they're doing now. They're taking it all now.
Yeah, they've constantly gone and taken a little more land, taking a little more land.
Right.
They do as much as they can get away with without international pressure, and they take a little more. But even things like, they have an international arrest warrant for like Netanyahu. Within our politicians, I think it's the ICC or whatever it is, but they trying to arrest the guy that put the arrest warrant out for Netanyahu.
International Criminal Court.
Yeah, so it just shows they don't take the court serious because our government's trying to shut down the courts.
Right, absolutely. They override everything.
So the courts have no power if the U.S. and everything won't respect them.
No, there is no power. There's none at all.
But if it was any other country they issued it for, they'd follow it, but not Israel.
Well, the power is in the people. The power is in the people of this United States. I pray to God that they will do everything they can to bring out the story of the USS Liberty. That will solve so many problems and let the world know and the American people know how devious and filthy and rotten a crooked government is, and ours is as crooked as it comes.
Yep. Yeah, it's our government's corrupt too, not just Israel.
No.
They're very clear. They go hand in hand working together. We're buying the corruption, so we're just as guilty as they are.
Well, when the Congress works for a Zionist state, when they have AIPAC handlers, our country is taken over.
Yeah, I would say they're committing treason, in my opinion. And that it stands for
Absolutely. I've
treason.
said it before. Treason is a very
Full-on
mild word.
treason, yeah.
Yeah,
These guys are completely treasonous, and they need to be treated that way.
they do.
Hopefully
need
they
to be
will
locked
after.
up.
Yeah, hopefully they will after a revolution, because
Right.
they completely sold out their country.
Yeah, they sold out our country. They sold out your family. They sold out my family. And I know you got kids. You got a wife and a family, and they're selling out your kids.
And you watch the dollar just slipping less and less.
I know,
and,
man. The dollar's not worth much at all. It really isn't.
Yeah, like inflation's like, luckily I'm doing pretty well, but look at prices, and they're just insane nowadays.
I don't know what the gas prices are here. Of course, you don't have it, but they're high in Colorado.
No, everything's high. Food, everything. It's like
Yeah.
the regular American can't afford to do much now.
No, you have to save your money.
Yep. Well, let's do a couple more audience questions and we could wrap up.
Okay.
'Cause sometimes you get some pretty good ones in here. What was your opinion prior to the event? How did it change? Have you spoken to many civilians about your experience? Where or not? Has you been? I think you've kind of already answered that. Your opinions changed quite a bit, right? So I think we
Yes.
could skip that one. Is Israel the greatest ally? And what message do you have for the politicians who say they are?
They're traitors. Our politicians say Israel is a great ally of America, are traitors to our country. They're traitors to our republic, which we cherish. We're going to lose our republic if we don't take it back and take it back soon. As Washington said, and I can't remember the quote exactly, but you shouldn't be beholden to another country. America comes first, nobody else.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Then, survivor of the Israel aggressions, how do you see that Israel is doing in Gaza? What is the message to the people, the administration, and the U.S. Congress? I mean, I think we've kind of answered that. I mean,
What they're doing in Gaza is unconscionable, and we're paying for it. The bombs they're dropping, it's got American blood all over it.
yeah, it's sad that we're paying for that.
Yeah, American
That's what
hands.
really, if we weren't involved, I would still be strongly against it. But the fact that my tax dollars are paying for that really bothers me.
I know, it bothers me too. Bothers
Yeah,
me too, Jake.
So let's do one or two more, and then we can wrap it up. Let's see if we got anything else in here that I haven't covered. What do you think of the Johnson administration? I think you covered that too. Do you think he was involved in the cover-up and an attack? Yeah, you definitely covered that. So that's, yeah, I had no idea Johnson was supposedly involved.
Yeah, he's. In fact, I'd like to go piss on his grave.
sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
What a scum.
Yeah, scumbag from the word go. He just didn't become a scumbag. It went all the way back to politics in Texas.
So yeah, I haven't really looked into that much. I'll do a little research on him.
Yes,
I just
sir.
know he became president after they assassinated JFK.
Yes, absolutely.
So anything else you want to add or talk about before we wrap up? Or
Yeah, I would just like again to reiterate how grateful I am to you for doing this, and hopefully other people that have podcasts that want to reach out. I'm available. I'll go anywhere, do anything to do it.
where can people reach you? Like, do you have someone put me in touch with you? But where their website, or what's the way for people to find you?
Just go to Phil.USS Liberty Justice 67 at TDS.net.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think you're a patriot. You served our country. Now you're trying to spread the word to keep serving America.
Well,
So
to
thanks
another
so much, Phil.
patriot, God bless you.
Yeah, thank you. Great talking.